You know what they did to CBS News? I mean, here was a news outlet, which, of course, they've really been, they've just been decimated in recent decades. But there was a time when CBS would report like the London Blitz, and they were on the roofs as it was happening.
Yeah.
And they really had really good. This was back when journalism was in a better place, and now we have basically
fake news.
State
now
media.
We have fake news.
Yes, basically state media. On the one hand, it's like, oh, well, we have all the streaming services, we have all the networks now. Now we'll be able to control the media. I don't think that's really going to happen long term. I really feel like this little thing called the internet, people are going to be like, okay, well, we can get around this shit. And
they already are, though.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think this
think we
like how they think it's go.
What is it? TikTok. Why do you think America bought TikTok? Oh, because of Chinese spyware. No, because they're probably going to report stuff and it'll be unfiltered.
Yep.
I mean, there was a level of security threat to it, but
sure.
I mean, it's no different than any other media network.
Any other media.
I'm always getting notifications about like, oh, you have no followers. Why don't you try to go live? I'm like, no.
See, I think the there used to be like a requirement by the news networks of they had to be a level of honesty. I think the anything that is even like you take Facebook or TikTok or any of that, anything that's even being purported as even close to news and not, it needs to be all right. It needs to be immediately fact checked or delayed and not immediately released. My mom posted a couple that I had to go. Yeah, no, this is. Oh, it was Stephen Miller testified in front of Congress, and it's like Stephen Miller hasn't testified in front of Congress in like over a year plus or something. Like that dude hasn't walked in front of there forever. So there's no way in hell he got caught in something because he testified in front of Congress. That's just not accurate. So there's a lot of really bad junk information out there. But as far as like the media networks, I mean, who's really watching media like 6 o'clock news or a lot of this Fox stuff?
That's what I'm saying. I think they're really going to take big losses.
I think with the boomers passing away in our generation, eventually kind of crapping out. I mean, our generation isn't that big to begin with. I think eventually the major networks are going to take some serious impacts when it comes to news coverage. Like Fox has its viewership and they have their teeth into some deep areas. But I mean, I think a lot of the younger generation and everything else have split off. I mean, you look at the Midas Touch network for the left, you look at Breitbart and some of the stuff on the right. It's gone into the internet sphere.
Well, not just that, but I've noticed a trend in people just like just not signing up for some of the streaming services. Like, just nope, no, I don't do Netflix. I don't, you know what I mean? It's like, I know of one of my friends I grew up with, they told me, they said, yeah, we only have a subscription to YouTube and that's it.
Right now we are down to, I keep Netflix even though they keep jacking up the price only because we are actually watching the stuff that they have. But if we weren't watching their stuff, I'd be chucking them out the window. We're down to Disney Plus and Amazon Prime. That's it.
People are making, they're making sacrifices as budgets get tighter, and entertainment happens to be one of them. Well, can I be entertained on this instead? Yeah, we're seeing that.
Well, you sign up for cable and you spent $50 a month, and you would get, or I mean, for the basic package, it might actually, back in the day it was like $30, but for $30 and you'd get 50 channels. You might only watch maybe 10 of them, but you had these other channels that you could watch. Now for $30, you get two streaming services, maybe 3 if you're lucky, and you're restricted to what they have. And you can't get regular TV. You can't get regular sports like the NFL or hockey or basketball on your local television. So you now have to figure out how to get local television. They either need to start packaging this crap together so that they can get discounts and actually get people viewership back up and get revenue coming into these services, or they are going to end up running this to the point where people are going to have lower viewership because they're running the rates up.
Well, this is where, ESPN basically has it to where you can see all the games through ESPN. Well, who owns ESPN? Because I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, oh shit, what would happen if, say, something were to happen, the United States were to implode? What would happen to the NFL? What would happen to college football? Would the leagues just be a lot smaller? Like, would it just be like if college football in Alabama, there's no more United States, would it just be SEC football?
I think the bigger question is
like wrestling.
I think the bigger question is if we have an economic collapse.
Yeah,
it's not a question of whether or not there's no longer in America. It's a question of if we have an economic collapse, what gets sacrificed? And the Commanders are the local team around here, and I probably wouldn't have I like football. I like watching football. I like seeing football live. But to be honest, if it's costing me $150 per game to go see, between food and parking and tickets and everything else to go see a game, I'm not doing it. It just ain't happening. So they're pricing themselves out. And you look at it with Ticketmaster, and I can't believe that lawsuit got tossed out. But you look at Ticketmaster and everything else, where concerts, I would love to go see bands play, but I'm not paying $70 for a band that I like, not love. I'm not paying $100 for a band that I love but don't like, am in love with, like am over the top with. There are criteria of what I'm willing to do. And I know right now, at least, there are people who have that disposable income to do it. But one turn of this economy, and we are not far from that, especially with the job markets not looking great. We're not far from that tipping. All of this stuff that they've built up is under the assumption that wages are continuing to increase, and they stopped increasing wages 20 years ago.
Whatever you want. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
It's funny that you kind of mentioned this. And I'm gonna lead into it. First, I'm gonna say this is kind of pulling from the Kayfabe Crib Show. WrestleMania, the biggest wrestling event of the year worldwide, always sells out. Well, they jacked up the prices of the tickets. And here they are 1 week out from this, and they are begging on TV with characters coming out in character, per se, saying the price of the tickets are too high. You got to lower them. And they're actually lowering the prices and using that angle on television to try and sell them because they can't fill the stadium. So that's ties into what you're talking about. But where I want to go outside of that is we already saw the beginnings of this with movie theaters. People stopping to go see movies in theaters because hey, I can wait the X amount of time before it comes out on DVD or Blu-ray or streaming. And that created that turn to where now they have a 45-day window of theatrical run before it can go to digital.
But what movie theaters have done is they've made the experience, and I still don't see a viable route for how they're dealing with it right now. But what they've done is they have tried to make the experience something more luxurious. Okay, you can get food, you can get beer, you can get whatever else, and try and bring it back to an event out. But they're still expecting huge box office numbers for the movies coming out, and it's not there anymore. I mean, we have an economic system with an expectation of things being static, and the reality of it is that it is dynamic. And they keep talking about, oh, well, the market will provide the market. Laissez-faire economics works in this way. People will, demand is over here, so the price will go up or down, depending upon that, etc. They're refusing to acknowledge it. They're rigging the demand in a way. And it was the funny thing about what was it? It was somebody's book who was like a bestseller. It had something to do with the Republican National Convention. And they were like, oh, this book is a bestseller. Yeah, that's because, or maybe it was My Pillow Guy or something. I forget who it was. But the reason it was bestseller is because they bought all the books. It's not that they were giving the books away. So you've turned it into a bestseller, not because people were actually interested in it. You turned it into a bestseller because you had disposable cash to be able to make it a bestseller.
Yeah, that's not a marketing thing. It's just a way to market.
It is, but
bullshit. Yeah, I agree.
It's complete bullshit. And I mean, the whole thing with ticket sales and everything else, the thing with the packaged options for watching your movies and stuff on, this is going to catch up. Like, I mean, I'm down to 3 services. That's it. Netflix pisses me off. We're going to be down to 2. Amazon we only have because we have the immediate delivery. So I mean, that if they piss us off on that, or something else comes out that's better than Amazon for delivery, fine, we'll switch off of that. I'm down to 1. Disney, I mean, my kid ages out and we're no longer watching Disney stuff. That very well may go. I effectively could be down to just watching what I can find for free on the internet, and that's it. Us watching us on some YouTube equivalent, because YouTube is now, at what point do they decide they're going to start charging for all this crap? So, I mean, at some point in time, we have to look at our economics and realize that it's untenable, and we have to think of the next layer and start working on it. And I don't see, from what I've seen out there, I don't see any expectation that they're even thinking about the next layer of it. It is the short-sighted, what can I get now? And I think the best way we as citizens can try and get rid of all this crap is just demand that our information is no longer public, that they can't just go randomly sharing our information without giving us a dividend of what they're earning. Way too much of our economy is built on that. Shut that pipeline down, which will be damaging, but is necessary for our security and safety. Because it's not just our government who's buying that data information on us, including the CIA, which is scary as hell because they shouldn't be doing research on us. They're buying the information, but you can't tell me that foreign governments aren't profiling every single one of us. Those 3 of us who are sitting right here and people watching this, we're all getting profiled. They know which one of the 3 of us might be a danger to the government. They know which one of the 3 of us might be protesting next week. Who knows? They know it probably before we do. You then have to turn around and go, we need to bust up the monopolies. break them down. We've done it as a nation before. We need to break them down. So all the media empires, all the how much of our food is owned by one company?
How about bust up the AI monopoly?
The AI monopoly is so. I'm actually kind of disagree with you on this one because it's technically not a monopoly right now. There are a couple companies that actually have a major stake in it. But and I know you're anti-AI, so you will actually like this answer. I was talking with somebody about it and reading an article about it, and one of the biggest issues with AI is the fact that every group or billionaire or whoever is behind a lot of these things wants their own AI, and they want to prove their AI is better. So what they're doing is they are all dumping unbelievable amounts of money into fighting each other to make their own AIs. No. Let's let them do that. Keep the billionaires fighting amongst each other and these companies fighting amongst each other.
You know, that reminds me of religious fanatics.
Exactly. Let them fight amongst each other, and we just sit and wait. And then we only have to deal with one of them at the end of it instead of having to deal with
we reap the results
uniting against us. So let them fight it out. Let the best AI come out of this at the end of it, and then we do a monopoly bust on that one company. Because right now you technically don't really have a monopoly to break up. You have companies that are coordinating together that are creating unfair trade practices, which are shady to argue. I mean, from what I understand in the industry, I don't know if you could even claim that they're rigging the price set. I think there's a bigger argument that there is a rigging of the prices of things for gasoline, for food, for materials, that these CEOs sit and even though they may not say, hey, you know what, I think we need to charge X amount for this product, which is 100% illegal to do it with another CEO, but they are making commentary to each other or through open publications that I think the price of this is going to go up, and then other CEOs of other companies are reacting to that and rigging the price. It sounds conspiratorial, but it can be done completely out in the open and is visible. So, I mean,
I think my whole thought process in all of this, because I was thinking, I was like, you know, what would happen if our country and government were to dissolve? What would happen to these companies like the NFL or, you know, baseball? Or how would that work? You know, like how